Hey, it's Lenny Schmidt, Total Schmidt Show, 6 o'clock Tuesday night. You know the drill. Welcome to the show. I am in a cabin. Of course I am. Tonight's guest, the very lovely and talented singer, impressionist, performer, entertainer / everything, Carly Sakolove. I worked with her in Celebrity a few weeks ago. Buckle up. Hey, welcome to Total Schmidt Show. How you doing? I'm back at sea. Here's what you're going to get from the show. It's kind of like quarantine comedy, except I'm not going to be home. Actually, it's kind of like quarantine comedy and a combination of all the stuff I've done online over the last year or so. There's sketch stuff, live stuff, stand-up stuff, travel stuff, and of course, conversations with others who do the same things that I do on a daily basis. That's it. That's the whole show. And I'm going to record it all and put it on the intraweb. Sometimes. Usually late. Always late. Maybe. I don't know. And weekly? Maybe. Sort of. Could be. Either way, sit back. I hope you enjoy whatever the hell it is I put together for this week on Total Schmidt Show. Hey guys, welcome to the show. If you're watching, you know how it goes. I'm here Tuesday 6. I talk to entertainers all over the world as I travel and I work, all over the world. Well, always do me like above me are socials and all kinds of stuff. You can follow me. Please follow me on social media. You know what? Like the video, share the video. It helps all myself and all the entertainers out. It's really great if we can get more information out there on all of us. Also, subscribe to my channel. Would help me immensely. It doesn't cost you anything, and the numbers help me out big time. You get notified when I have new shows. I got all kinds of shows going on, but Total Schmidt shows every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Also, if you can, you'll see a ticker throughout the show. The show is self-promoted. We don't have any sponsors, is where I'm going with this. You'll notice. So if you like the videos or any of the content on the Lenny Schmidt Comedy Network or just Total Schmidt Show itself or any of the performers, do me a favor and support the show if you can. You can go to my website, LennySchmidt.com, click on the Pay If You Can button, and there's all kinds of options to support us so that I can keep providing shows, producing shows, and carrying this heavy equipment with me all over the world when I travel. But tonight, let's get to the point. Carly Sakolove, who I've met for the first time on the Celebrity Reflection. She was fantastic. It was a great show. She's a singer, beautiful voice. She does impressions as she sings and puts a lovely show together. It was great to see her work. There's a link of some of her work and a video we talk about later in the show in the description of the video. She was awesome. We hung out, we had dinner, and I asked her to do the show, and she said yes. Go figure. So here's Carly Sakolove, not live, but recorded from the Celebrity Reflection. Let's start with your show last night, which was brilliant. Great job. Excellent job.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's like
the people
all
I was
over.
with loved you.
Oh, Heather and Tommy.
Oh, they were going insane. Remember you asked me to tape, you taped some video stuff?
Yeah.
And I was
you
like,
get
cool.
some.
But every time I pulled out the video, Tom pulled out his video. And I kept going, hey, Tommy, you're not supposed to record. So then I would stop recording, and then he would stop. And then every time I would start, he would record again. And his wife would go, Heather, we stop it. So every time I record, and then other people wanted to record. I'm like, what the...
Oh, wow.
So I got 3 songs in a row. I got a couple small snippets.
Amazing.
And then I got Where You Do Barbara Walters. I got the song before and the song after that. So I got the whole chunk.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
And
You didn't have to do all that, but...
No problem. I would have done
Thank
more.
you.
If I should have brought my other camera. I didn't even think about it. It's an easier one to hold. And...
No, it's totally fine. You didn't have one of those, teeny little things like Bob's friend.
I do. I had the exact same
you
camera.
do? That little thing?
And I usually bring a
cool.
full tripod with me, so I can actually put it right in front of me. I've done it before in the princess ships.
Yeah.
Where you just sit and put a tripod right in front of me, and I don't even touch it. And that camera's got a gimbal on it. So it
That is cool.
tracks.
Yeah, because I never get footage from any of my stuff because I just don't think I'm always in the zone day of the show, and I'm just don't think of anything else, and I'm like, oh, I should have done that, or I should have done this or that.
Well, I started this thing on I do it on Carnival more than anything. I tape all my shows on Carnival.
Oh, nice.
It's really easy to do because I have this particular tripod is adjustable.
Oh,
These are
good.
rod steel or steel rod, whatever you're going to. So you can put it on any cable and then hang it upside down.
Oh, nice.
So and they have
put it on the banister. On the
yeah, anywhere. I've done that thing, but I try to get the high
thing.
shot, like a decent shot.
Yeah.
So it works on Carnival really well because you can put it anywhere. And then these other cameras, sometimes I need better lenses if I'm in the theater, because it doesn't pick up really good from deep. Like tonight, I might tape from the sound booth.
Oh.
Just to see how it looks. I always tape it to see how it looks.
Just and if you have it from multiple angles, better on you. You've got quite the setup here.
Yeah, I carry all this stuff with me now.
It's good.
You know what? I like to
all
do
your
the show
stuff.
live sometimes. We're just talking about. I'm thinking about getting Starlink. Like they use Starlink here. Starlink is the
help
new.
me.
It's the new Wi-Fi they use for the ships.
Oh yeah, okay. I have
just-
seen that.
They
Yeah.
updated on Celebrity. They're updating everyone else. They're all going to have the
Nice.
Wi-Fi.
Okay.
It's the Wi-Fi I've been using all week, which has been ridiculous.
Yeah,
I've been able to Zoom
you've
and FaceTime and watch. I
Wow.
watched the Mandalorian the other night. I'm a big fan. So I watched that. No
Dang.
glitches. But
Okay. Better than me.
apparently you can buy your own mobile antenna that's the size of a little thing like this.
Yeah.
And you can have
Bring
your
it
own
around.
Wi-Fi anywhere you go.
Oh, that sounds
And it's
convenient.
apparently $90 a month. And I'm like, for the money we've spent for Wi-Fi,
Yes.
that's nothing.
It was always like when I was living on ships, the whole Wi-Fi situation is kind of crazy. It's like underground, like insider like stuff.
Yeah, who knows
It's
who,
so,
the right password,
exactly.
and the right-
When I was on there was with the whole like theater crowd. None of us had Wi-Fi, and pretty much like half the time, all of a sudden, like halfway through our 7-month contract, there was like a couple of people that were like always on their phones, and cast members were like, "What are you doing on your phone?" And they're like, "Playing solitaire," and we're like,
Crush.
no, she's obviously like typing out a text or like sending an email or like watching a show. And so it became like, oh, they got the Wi-Fi code, like where can I get the Wi-Fi code? And it was
Right.
like crazy. All of a sudden, by the end, like a lot of us had it, but
Right.
it was just it was a little crazy. And on this particular cruise line that I was on, they gave us these like tablets to keep in touch with home.
Oh, right.
But they're like, here's a tablet for free. Thank you so much. And then they're like, oh, the Wi-Fi is $100 a day.
Yeah. You pay for the Wi-Fi. You use your
Right,
tablet.
exactly.
Well, it's tablets are paperweight now. Thank you very much.
Yes. Oh, I don't have it anymore. I think I gave it to my mom, like in her Hanukkah stocking.
Right. Oh, thank you so much. She got this tablet.
She's like, what is this?
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is the hardest thing on the ship, man. When you're
It is
traveling.
hard. Yeah, but you try and like give into it and just kind of like read a book or like
Right.
take a walk or
Well, I do the gym thing. That's my thing.
Yes, me too. But also, my problem in the gym is like when I'm on the treadmill or something to distract myself. Like, I would love to have like a trashy television show to watch.
Oh,
you know,
right.
But I don't have the Wi-Fi. See, I have to get the Wi-Fi next time for that particular situation
Oh, yeah, I bet that
because I'm
works.
just like staring at the ocean. I'm like, how many more minutes?
See, I'll do music. Like I can do music, but you
Music's
still got to
good.
download it to your phone.
I know. I didn't
Or
do
podcasts. I'll
that.
download some podcasts. But I
That's
always
good. Podcasts
forget.
are good.
More times than not, I'll forget. I'll be like, I want to hear this one song. I'm like, God, I don't have that one.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to the same 9 songs when I work out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have like my playlist of like the songs in my show on repeat, and that's it. Ooh, there you go.
Okay.
It's a tight quarters in here.
I know, man. This isn't as bad
Ship
as some of the
quarters.
other ones.
No, this is also when I was on a ship. There was that crew living. I'll tell you, some of my friends they had to. It was like a split. Their rooms they like shared a bathroom in the middle, and then they each had like a very small cabin
that was those,
with like
like,
a
Jack and
fold
Jill.
down bed. Yeah.
Those-
Had like a fold down bed so like you could like put it up during the day and like have a desk.
Right.
And my friend always used to say like, yeah, my cabin's great. I can brush my teeth and spit from my bed because they had like a little teeny sink like
So
right
gross.
here. I know.
So good.
So we're lucky.
Yeah, we're lucky. I don't know
We're
how-
so lucky on the
I've
ship.
been to a cabin party at a Jack and Jill before. Where
Oh
it's
my
been-
gosh, me too.
There's like 5-6 people crammed in this thing, and there's like no. I'm like, how do you people live in this?
I know.
That is really brutal.
Have you ever experienced a cabin crawl?
Yeah. Well, we did no. You know what? We had one where there was one ship where all the entertainers kind of stayed in one hallway. So
Yes.
it was almost like a dorm party where you bounced from
Exactly.
room to room.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what. But when I was on board for on my many month contract, we had a cabin crawl where we all had to have themes in our cabins, and the rule was like you have to have a snack and a drink
Oh, that's
and,
kinda
and a little
cool.
like token like
Yeah.
of something in your theme to
Oh,
like
that's
give
cool,
out to
though.
people. It was so cool. So there was like a whole schedule of like who was next and stuff. So you'd go on the crawl and then like 2 before yours, you'd like go back and like, get everything ready. And so do you want to know what my theme was?
Yeah. What was your thing?
Golden Girls.
Golden Girls. Did
I, like,
anybody even know what Golden Girls was?
couple of people, but like, so I decked it all out like it was like Miami in my room, and I made out of like paper, I made like palm trees and like, I don't, but also like I collected things in port. We were in like Puerto Rico, and we were like in different ports, and I was just like finding things everywhere. I got the old people like candy, the old people like Danish butter cookies,
Right.
and all this stuff. And my themed drink was a Betty White Russian.
Oh, that's beautiful. I like that.
And then we had I had, I'm an impressionist, so I have like tons of wigs. I brought like 12 wigs on that contract. So I was wearing a wig, like dressed up as an old lady, and I had like all my wigs on the clothing rack, like the what do you call it, coat rack
You're
thing
right.
that's like up on the wall. I had all the wigs up there and like a camera, and I wrote like photo booth, and so everyone like tried on the old lady wigs, and I was like taking pictures. It was hysterical, but a lot of them were in those split cabins, those little ones.
Yeah.
And one guy was so creative. He made his into a Starbucks.
Really?
And yeah, and so like he didn't actually like invite people in. He made it like a Starbucks drive-through.
Oh, like a
because no one could fit in there.
right, like a service bar thing.
Exactly.
Where you walk up and just order stuff.
Yeah, and he was so artistic, and
Yeah.
he made made his whole door like a frame, and with like all the Starbucks like logo stuff. And in port, like throughout the weeks and stuff, he'd go into Starbucks and ask them for stuff, and they'd give him like cups. They give him those little like waxy paper bags that they put the treats in, and he was handing out coffee and like
my God.
pastries in the little
That's
treat
brilliant.
bags.
That's a
Can
really
you
good idea.
even like,
That's a lot of work. That's good, man.
it is, but like you live for that kind of stuff on
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah, that's your good dude. That's a social time thing. That's like a Halloween party. We used to have a Halloween party
Exactly.
with a theme years ago, but you get to do it on a ship every.
Yeah.
Plus, it keeps you alive, man. Jeez, the guys.
I know.
You're on the ship for a long time. That's brutal.
I know it is, and
Were you cast when you were doing that?
I was cast.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a Mamma Mia contract, the first Mamma Mia at sea.
Okay.
And so we were in shoreside rehearsals for about like a month and a half. Then we went to Germany because it was the takeout cast, which means the ship was still being built.
Right.
So they flew us to Germany, and we had all our technical rehearsals on the ship. Like while it's in port, like there's like no paint on the walls, and the floors are still being installed. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, resident reinstall or whatever. That's the whole thing.
And there was contractors everywhere, like all these German guys, like checking us all out, and
Right.
the
They'd
company
be thrilled.
Yeah, it was really exciting. So when they were gone, we were like, yeah. And then we did these thing called sea trials. Do you know what that is?
No.
Basically, before they get the passengers on a cruise ship, they kind of have to like test it out in a way.
It's like a dress or a tech kind of type thing?
Yeah, but for like an entire like vessel at sea. So basically they go like, they do these things like they'll go like really fast.
Right.
And then they'll say like, all crew members like go to like the starboard side and like make sure it doesn't tip. It's just like, it's basically like,
Really?
we're basically like test dummies.
Yeah, you're like guinea pigs. That's,
Yeah.
I never knew that. That's creepy.
It's called sea trials. It's kind of weird. They reward us afterwards with like, off-brand iPads and crew parties.
There you go. Thanks for doing it.
Here you go. Thank you.
That's the worst. I've never heard that about a ship.
I know, it's so weird. I'm like, what is this, legal?
Yeah.
I mean, but they have to have bodies on the ship before they get paying customers, and like just
sense.
make sure that everything's smooth. I mean, I'm sure that they have all the confidence that it's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not like iffy.
Yeah, they're like, let's see if this
Like, let's
doesn't
give
tip
this a shot.
over.
You know what? Put the real people on, see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever been in a lifeboat?
I've never been in a lifeboat. No.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, they look teeny. Well, I mean, not when you're like standing on deck 5, like looking up at it,
Yeah.
but like from the
Well, next to
shore.
the big ship, they look teeny.
Exactly.
Because they're hanging from a big ship.
Right, and you're like, how many people fit on this? Like 5, and they're like, no, 400.
400 people fit on those things?
I don't.
I know they get a lot of people.
It's hundreds for sure. It's in the hundreds. But like, so as a crew member, we had some drills where we'd like actually load ourselves into the lifeboats, and you're like on there, and there's like a little circle to where your butt goes. Like, and you're like, sit here. There's like, they're very like, you know,
they're fitted
meticulous.
Oh,
they're not
like
quite fitted, but they're like what they're like basically
like the bleachers at the ball game.
No, it's not like the bleachers at the ball game. And then they're like show you their rations. It's like packs of water like this big, and
well, I guess they got to have a number limit, right? You can't have too many people on the small boat.
Right. It's like it's very
Titanic,
specific.
it works.
Yeah, you know how it works. You just like jump off the ship and hope you land in a boat.
And only the rich people go. I understand.
Yes.
Makes complete sense to me.
Yes, exactly.
Which means I will never get a boat.
Unless you're a strings player, and then you have to stay on deck.
Just play the music down.
Yes. Are you like? I feel like you're like not allowed to say the word Titanic on a cruise ship. It's like saying the M. The M play in a theater.
More times than not, they play that Celine Dion song in some sort of lobby or elevator. Or
it's like a little eerie.
Yeah, you hear it, and people always joke about it.
Yeah,
like, you think they should be playing this song? I mean, but they do it on every ship, and I think they do it on purpose. You know, so
people kind of like that. I feel like people are kind of like, this feels like a Titanic in like a fun, like masochistic way.
Up to a limit. It feels like the Titanic to a limit.
Yeah,
like right before the chaos.
Exactly.
Like right now, I'm sure Jack is downstairs partying. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, he probably is. And Rose,
yeah,
she snuck down there.
Yeah, they're living their best life down there before it all goes south.
Literally. Well, first it goes, and then south.
Have you ever cruised over that area, over where the Titanic went down and stuff?
Okay, we're like after the sea trials, like continuing that whole conversation. After the sea trials, we picked up our first passengers in Southampton.
Oh, right. I forgot you were from up there.
And then we crossed. Yeah. And we crossed to New York, which is the exact
that's the area,
route of the Titanic.
Right.
So that was a little concerning. And it was winter.
Oh, no. So you're twice.
It was really crazy. Like, I don't know why any passengers would want to have done that crossing. The seas were crazy. We were like tipping all over the place.
Right.
It was long and it was cold, but
well, I've done that tour, and they have a museum up there in Canada. I can't remember what the museum is, but the Titanic Museum.
Oh, and there's one right now. It's like a pop-up museum, and it's in New York right now. I actually kind of love disasters. It's kind of a weird thing about me. Like they're very interesting to me.
I guess they're the Titanic was always interesting. It became more interesting to me when I started working ships.
Yeah.
And I would be in the middle of the ocean in the middle of the night, and I would think to myself, if there were no lights and this thing was going down, all you would hear is screaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of sick. That's scary and sick.
It is scary. I know. That's what I think of all the time when I'm up there. I'm like, oh, can you imagine if the ship right now broke in half and all this other stuff?
You know what I always think about is like the cold water.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll like have ice on my foot and I'm like, after 10 seconds. Literally 10 seconds, I can't have it on there. I'm like,
so even a little bit of hypothermia will be bad for you.
Yeah, no, I'd be dead the second I hit that water. Like, I want to be floating on the door.
Yeah.
I'd be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a wimp that way.
No, I don't want to have that way either. But once you hit that water, I always think about... I'm always thinking about people jumping off the ship because you always hear those stories. Mm-hmm. And I'm always... First thing I think is... I'm always like, I would never jump off a ship. I don't know why anyone even for a second crosses. Mm-hmm. I get the mind and the depression and things happen. Yeah. But still,
a ship, you'd rather go off a bridge.
Well, no. If you're gonna die,
you to do it.
It's gonna be pills or something. You know, it's gonna be something where I go to sleep and don't wake up. I don't want to be chopped up by a propeller. I don't want to be. Last thing I want to do is jump in the water and see the ship sail away and then be like, oh, I can just float here till I die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Horrible.
Maybe take the pills first, then jump off.
Yeah. And then it wouldn't be so bad.
A quick thrill, and then you're gone.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. You'd wake up a little bit, and the pills would kick in, and you slowly just drift off. See, that's better. I'm gonna write that down. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, well, sometimes I think about these things, but I told you I like disaster. What's wrong with me?
What other disasters do you think about on a regular basis?
I think about, like, major fires, like... And also, I mentioned this to you, like, my neighbor a text just came through from my neighbor. She's not in my building, but she's, like, in the area. And she's like, oh, my God, did you see the fire? And my wife and I are both away from home right now. And I'm like, no, what? What fire? And then she, like, never responded. So this is me like thinking of like every house, like imagining like every apartment building or house on my street like up in flames.
The whole street shot. Yeah, right.
Like I'm like, where? What about my car?
Yeah.
Like
I need a little more. Oh, no, what about my? I need more information than that.
I know, so I'm still like actually still waiting. So yeah, I think about that. What other? I mean,
There's a parking garage that just went down in New York this week. Did you see that?
No.
In the
What
middle
do you mean
of,
went down?
Well, I mean, you remember the building in
Like
Miami?
burnt?
No, remember the building in Miami, the big two huge apartment buildings?
Yes.
They just caved in. Which, by
Yes.
the way, Bob had a friend on there. He was just telling me the story last week. He had a friend, and he told me about her last phone call. It was fucking horrible. It was a horrible story. It's a terrible story. He's talking to
This
talking to her
podcast is
husband.
going down.
I know. What the hell happened?
What
Sorry.
happened? All of a
It's supposed
sudden
to be
we're
a
like
happy, funny podcast.
so
There's a 6-story parking garage in Manhattan that just collapsed. It just caved in.
oh my
And I
god.
think only 3 or 4 people died, and a handful of people got injured.
How many cars died?
I don't know. I didn't see all the information, but I was amazed. I saw 3 or 4 people died, and I was like happy. I was like, oh god, in Manhattan, God only knows how many people could be in
That's
one of
true.
those things. You know what I mean? It could be 20, 30 people.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
But it just collapsed. It just
too many cars.
yeah, I don't know, or bad infrastructure. We have shitty infrastructure in this country.
Yeah.
Half our buildings are falling apart. And
I know that actually scares me. And that's actually sometimes what I think about, like being on the 4th floor of my building. It's just like okay. I feel like the builders kind of cut corners in my building. Just go with me here. It's like it's beautiful. It's like it was renovated or kind of redone or something. I think like 5 years ago, right before I moved in. So everything's like pretty new. It's nice, but just there's weird things like there's these little closets kind of on every floor. There's 2 apartments on every floor, and in between there's like a closet that says refuse room. So you're like, oh, like it's
Yeah.
a trash chute, or it's like a
Yeah.
trash room, and but it's not a chute. Nothing goes down. It's literally like a closet, and the door opens in, so you can't even put anything in there.
oh right, okay.
It's literally just like imagine like the door opening in of a
bad
small
design.
closet. It's
Yeah.
bad design.
Right.
And then there's other just little things here and there, like other doors open in the wrong ways and things like that. And I'm like, I really do feel like they cut corners
Maybe
when they
they're
were
in a
putting
hurry.
this shit.
Sometimes they're in a hurry to get something up.
Yeah, and then I'm like, if they're cut corners, like, am I gonna like, is this whole building gonna collapse
Well, yeah,
some
like, where else do
moment?
they
And
cut
like,
corners that you're not aware of?
exactly.
Right.
That's kind of scary. That's why I don't like lean on the railing of my balcony like willy nilly. You know, like,
God, yeah, right.
so those are some other things I think about.
Okay, that's creepy. Thanks.
Now that we're fully depressing.
Yeah, that was really. It's really late.
How's your cruise going?
Well, I got to give you first. I'll give you kudos, huge kudos. I'm always impressed when I meet someone from a cast that now is a guest entertainer.
Thank you.
That's huge accomplishment, and
Thank you.
Every time I have someone, I'm blown away by that.
Thank you. It
Yeah.
means a lot to me because I was on that contract as a cast member, like watching these guest entertainers come in. I'm like, well, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and although I love being a part of a cast, don't get me wrong, like I love performing with other people. It takes the pressure off you, and it's really fun. But you know, ship life is hard, and having to be on a ship
Right.
is more difficult than electing to take certain cruises,
100%.
right?
Oh yeah.
And so so I always thought like I really want to do that. And actually, this is funny. I took some time to write the show you saw last night while I was on the ship as a cast member, and the music director worked with me and helped me create all my band charts, and he helped get the click track and all the things, basically like this perfect package for this cruise ship show. And then when I got off the ship, like just life happened and some other gigs and some other things like that. And I did do the show. Oh, I got to do it on a C day when I was part of the cast.
Oh, good.
And it
All
got
right.
great response. And so but then it kind of like went on the back burner somewhere. And I did it a little bit like here and there in some venues throughout the country. But I reached out to a couple of cruise ship agents and never heard back from anyone. And, you know, I was just like, I really need to get this thing like on a ship. Or this is like where I want to go with this. And then things started happening like a year or two ago. Like it started like people were interested. And it took kind of just a right place at the right time situation for me. A couple months ago, one friend of mine was having dinner with his friend who just became a cruise ship agent.
Right.
And this friend said, well, you should talk to my friend Carly. She's an impressionist and she's awesome. And he goes, oh my gosh. He's like, I know, like, there's a cruise line that's like really wanting to hire more female acts.
Right.
And they're looking for something like her. Like, can I get in touch with her? The next day I talked to him, and the next day after that, I had a cruise booked.
Yeah, right on.
And then I had like a little save the day moment. This was the first cruise that I had booked.
Okay.
But about a month ago, I got kind of like a desperate call from my new cruise ship agent saying, such and such cruise like lost an act.
Was this a story that he told last night at the end of the show? Oh, so she was true.
This is true.
Oh, sometimes those
it's
stories
true.
are BS.
It's true, except for it was the wrong country.
Right.
But that's okay. He's got a lot going on in his mind. It was the right continent.
Yeah.
So I got a call at 8 p.m. saying, are you by any chance able to fly to Cartagena, Colombia tomorrow morning? Join this ship. Do your show tomorrow night. 2 shows, and stay on 2 days and then fly back. And I was like I just got back from a vacation upstate. Had just finished putting all my clothes away, and I just got in my pajamas, and I was just like, and I turned to my wife, and she was like, and I was like, yes, okay, yes,
yeah,
and then
yes. Yeah. Oh,
yes, it's a yes. And 100%. He was like, he's like, really? Because it seemed like he had probably gone through his whole roster because, he hasn't seen my show yet. And I haven't been on board yet.
Yeah. So with all due respect, you wouldn't be the first person he called.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm sure nobody could do it. And he was like, well, last ditch ever. Let's call this new girl.
It's a great situation for you to be in because everybody else is booked. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just starting out. That's kind of.
Exactly. So I didn't sleep. I had to get all my music. My music was in a million different places. It was locked in a folder online.
Yeah.
And the guy who had the virtual key to this folder was 5 hours ahead of me.
Right.
And he was asleep. And so I didn't know if I could even access my music, but I was like, I had charts for a few of the band members, but I needed all of them. And so we're working on that. I'm waiting to hear back. I'm throwing bathing suits across the room, and my wife's like, do you have this? Do you have that? Blah, blah, blah. Fill out this form. I mean, it was insanity. I did not sleep. And then 3 o'clock in the morning, left my house, went to the airport, flew to Colombia. My flight wasn't delayed. That was something he got wrong, but there was some situation that happened in the airport that day that the customs line was so backed up that it was basically out the door. And
in Cartagena?
Yes. And I'm trying to get the Wi-Fi, tell my agent I'm trying, and he's in contact with the ship, how long will you be, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to talk to all of the agents that are just kind of watching the line, sort of, and I'm like,
plus, you have no idea how long it's going to be.
Exactly.
It's your first time doing this.
Exactly, but I know it's not the move. It wasn't moving.
Right.
The line wasn't moving. I'm just like, I'm on a cruise ship, and I'm scared I'm going to miss the boat. And they're just like, okay, and left.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, and I asked.
Put away your phone.
Yeah, I asked every single employee to help me, and they're all like, "Let me check," and then they never came back.
Yeah, disappear.
So I'm gonna tell you. Then I get out in Cartagena, and I have my luggage, and I'm trying to get a cab, and they're like, cash only, and I'm like, I don't even have American dollars, let alone whatever currency is here, pesos. And so I had to go back into the airport, get pesos. The worst traffic ever. Lenny, I got to the ship at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
All aboard was 6:30, and my show was at 7.
Oh, man. Okay.
I'm dripping sweat. I'm disgusting. I haven't showered in 2 days.
Right.
And And I finally get on the ship, and the production stage manager is waiting for me. She's like, Connie, let me go. And grabs my bags, and she's like, sign all these forms while we're walking. And then we get into the theater. She's like, the band's got your music, and we've got everything, blah, blah, blah. Like, it all worked out. They were rehearsing without me. I jump on stage. I had like 20 minutes of rehearsal. Right. Didn't even get through all the songs. And I was on at 7.
Wow. That's pretty badass.
Yeah. Next day, I had 6 cruise offers.
Oh, right on, yeah.
So that's the beginning of it all. Did you just hear that?
Yeah, that's when you.
I was like, 6 cruise offers.
It's the engine thing. Or it's something over here, this mechanic.
Say it again.
Do 6 cruises.
Offers.
It only offer 6 cruise offers. Maybe you should say it.
6 cruise offers.
Damn it, I was hoping it would happen. That would creep me out.
I know. Anyway, so that's a story, and now I'm here. Ooh.
I love it. That's a good story. But that's perfect how it works out. Because like, when I started out doing ships, it's easier for me. First of all, I don't know how you do it with the music, man. You gotta have music. You gotta have so much shit. You gotta bring.
A lot of details.
You know, but yeah, there's way more details than me. Like I can just show up like with a decent outfit,
right?
And go, I just need a microphone.
You don't even need a decent outfit.
No, I can get away with a not decent outfit.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
but if for a while I had a suitcase that I just kept in my car with me. And I was always packed ready to go when I started out because I'd always get last minute gigs.
Oh.
They would go, can you fly to Puerto Rico tonight at 6? Yes, I can. And I was ready to go. Boom, I would just head out. I was always ready and packed to go.
It's amazing, like when you surprise yourself and say yes to things. I try and say yes to most things, even if it's pro bono or. Don't get any ideas, guys.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do everything for free. But like. I try my best to, if I can, do it because you never know where a yes is going to lead you.
Right.
Especially in this business. It's like, take a chance. And also, if you save the day, there's going to be more things.
That's the big thing with cruise ships, too. If you step up and you deliver like that and you deliver at the last second and now you're in the Rolodex, you're set. Yeah. I mean, you're really in good shape. I mean, once you're in the rotation, you're pretty much good for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. I like it a lot. I'm having fun.
Nice.
So we both experienced this cruise like a lot of days off.
Yeah.
Until because you were on the first night and then you're on the last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you do this week?
All I did was I chilled a lot this week. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I look forward to this week because it is a schedule like that, and I've been pretty heavy the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm a little tired, a little burned out. I know it sounds silly. But
No.
it's a lot of shows.
Yeah.
I mean, some ships are doing 10 shows a week, 9 shows a week, 11. It depends on the line. Norwegian, I did heavy load on the Bliss for 3 weeks.
Wait, 10 shows of you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but they're different. Like on Norwegian, you do 10 40-minute shows, or you do 7 40-minute shows, and you do 3 20s in the theater.
Wow.
And then in Carnival, it's 10 30-minute shows. And they're in the club.
Wow. And so you have to have different sets?
No, it used to be like it's different. Like everybody has different formats. Carnival used to have you rotate 5 different shows.
Okay.
And now they don't want you to do that anymore. They want you to rotate 3 shows because they're trying to get people to come back to see the shows. Which they're having a huge problem with that because everybody's used to seeing 5 different shows. And we're playing. Their rooms are huge. Like their comedy rooms.
Yeah.
They're gigantic. So some of them hold 400 people.
Wow.
So if you're in there and you do 2 shows in a night, you're not going to fill the room twice. You just don't. You fill it once, the second show is like 30 people. And we're like, why am I doing it? And then people complain. They go, why'd you repeat a show? And you're like, well, they told me to.
Exactly. That's tough. That should get kind of figured out. Yeah, they should figure that out.
Well, they're restructuring it. And I think they will figure it out. But they're just not doing it right. It makes sense to repeat a show if you're going to do it the same day. That's
exactly. It's like 2 seatings of the same show. Or at least they should tell you, like, name it or something.
Well, we have names to the shows, but then that's why there were still 5 different shows. Well, like some of the ships, like the newer class ships, have a smaller comedy room, so it's brilliant. And the way they do it is, you do one night, you do the 2 clean shows. The next night, you do the 2 adult shows, but you repeat each one, and then people know.
Yeah.
And it works. It works out like clockwork. Works out really well.
Great.
Now they're trying a new format where you do all your shows in one night, which I hate. I don't like doing 5 shows in a night.
That's exhausting.
Yeah, it's a little much.
That's like Disney. Like
it's crazy.
Not Disney. It's like being a performer at a theme park.
Yeah, and it's 30. And with stand up, you're talking nonstop for the whole show.
I know.
So that's 3 hours of nonstop.
Yeah. Listen, I had to give you props, and you're like that's a lot to have in your head. That's a lot of
to remember.
Yes, and I mean, I know you do a lot of improv in there as well, and you work off of what you're given, but like, you have this stuff memorized, like
Yeah.
basically. And it's so much, and just like keeping it clear. I mean, I've got my banter in between my songs, and it's hard for me to keep that straight. And you guys just I gotta hand it to you. You ever think of like how much crap you actually have it like in your head?
No,
like
I don't think about that because then I would forget it. That's when I would. Now I just take it for granted and just kind of do it.
Yeah.
And I just know it, and I go up there and do it. And the cool thing, like that's why I work. I like it's harder working different lines because carnivals, like I said, it's 10:30s. Norwegian's 40s. Here it's 45s. So the show constantly, I'm changing my structure constantly.
Yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah, but I always approach it where I know I'm going to open, I know I'm going to close, and then I let the middle kind of breathe, and then whatever happens. Sometimes I play the crowd more. Sometimes I go. And plus, I know how long my bits are,
right.
So I can look at the clock and go, all right, I have 12 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
I can do this bit 6, this one's 4, and close with the 2.
Yeah. But it's also like experience. You've been doing this forever, and like you've got all that structure down. Like I'm still kind of figuring it out.
Yeah, and comfortability on stage is the most important part because once you're comfortable on stage, you're not worried about anything.
Oh, it's 100% correct.
It all goes away when I hit the stage. Like I'm more stressed. Like this is why I hate having a lot of time off. I was stressed. My 9 o'clock show. There's something I said in the 9 o'clock show that annoyed someone, and someone was offended. And I know they were because I saw them leave the show, and I've heard somebody say something about it twice this week, and it's been driving me nuts for 4 days. So for 4 days, I'm neurotic after the show, and before I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna? I don't know. What did I say? But during the show, I'm like, oh, everything's good. I'm fine.
Yeah, but like, there's always gonna be somebody that's not gonna like something or not gonna like you or whatever it is, and if 80% of the people are happy, then I think you've done your job. You know what I mean?
Comedy's subjective. It's totally subjective.
Oh, especially with comedy.
And you're going to be really careful in these clean shows. Sometimes I've had people get overly sensitive over a joke where I'm like, it's not offensive even on like in a G comedy level.
Yeah.
And they'll go, well, it's inappropriate. And you'll go,
yeah. There was one point last night where I was like, did I cross the line? You know,
which one?
I said I'm impressionist, so I was like talking about
the women.
I was like all the women I've done, and then I'm like,
I want to do all these women. You said,
yeah.
I want to do all these. That's not weird.
That sounded weird.
It's great. You gotta laugh though.
It gotta laugh. I gotta keep it.
You gotta keep it and
try and make it seem natural.
Yeah, it did seem natural, and then keep it, man.
Yeah,
it was a great laugh.
Yeah, it did.
That sounded weird.
It came out wrong.
I want to impersonate all these women.
Yeah.
That's
hey,
great.
dirty minds.
Yeah,
folks.
I got a huge laugh.
Oh, good.
That was perfect. Yeah.
I'll take it.
And see, I think that's just clean enough for a family. That's good. But I swear,
not so bad.
Somebody would be like, "Oh, she said she wanted to do." Some people are just very uptight when it comes to comedy.
Yeah.
I had an aunt. I used to tell a story before. I have an aunt that was so uptight about comedy, and she went to an adult show and she sat there and it was just offensive. And I go,
it was just
six
offensive.
cruise offers. 6 cruise offers.
6 cruise offers.
6 cruise offers. But she was like, comedy. It was too offensive. It was not comedy. I go, well, comedy's subjective, and some people
Don't tell me what comedy is. You're probably not funny at all,
that was the best part,
lady.
'cause she's one of these aunts that knows everything.
Oh, it's
and you just got to kind of go with it. So I'm trying to explain to her, well, comedy's subjective. She goes, no, it's not. It's not. It's not. Some things are too much. I go, no, some things aren't. No, I go, well, there's some people that think that's funny. She'll go, no. I'm like,
just let her go.
It's the same argument she said to me. I came over to the comedy club it was a cruise ship, and George Lopez was their spokesperson. I go, it's Carnival. She goes, no, it's not. I go, I work the George Lopez Comedy Club on Carnival for years. That's George Lopez. No, it's not.
Okay.
You're right.
God.
My bad, Aunt Marsh. You're right. My bad. You're right. But she was just always right. But she believed she was adamant on that. That's not comedy. I go, all right, I can't have this conversation.
Well, she probably sucks.
She's an aunt. What do you do? You know.
Everyone's got one.
Yeah, everyone's got to tell. And there's always people that want to tell you to do how you do what you do. You got to run into the same thing, right? Where people come out, you should do this, and you want to go, you should shut up.
Oh yeah. Why didn't you do Streisand? I'm like, because I suck at her. Would you have liked me to? Would you like me to have gone up there and done a shitty Barbara Streisand?
Why don't you do Gandhi while you're at it?
Yeah. This isn't Total Request Live, lady.
I don't do them all. Okay,
I only do the women, right? Hey, hey.
I impersonate the women.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. But yeah, people always tell you it's got to be tougher with impressionists.
Yeah, it is. It's tough.
But do you just tell them I don't do that one?
Well, I'll say like, she's really hard, and a lot of people I can just like listen and just get it, and then some people are just really hard, and you have to really try. And so, in a show like this, I just want to be able to be the character and not think about like, am I doing it right,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
But funny enough, the video I posted on YouTube that I was telling the audience about last night, it's called Broadway Divas Send in the Clowns. Just check it out.
Plug it on the thing.
Yeah.
Plug it on the thing.
Okay. And so this was in 2010, and I put my email address at the end of the video. I put it up there for fun, and so but then it went viral, and so everyone's got my personal email address, and I was getting tons of I would call it fan mail. I was getting tons of emails, mostly congratulatory, and somebody emailed me, and it was Stephen Sondheim's assistant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right
and
on.
said, Mr. Sondheim wants you to know that he loved your video. His only question is, where's Streisand?
Oh, no.
I'm like,
With him,
Stephen Sondheim hates me. There's a guy on board right now that looks just like Stephen Sondheim.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've run into him yet.
Yeah, he's there's I'd like to call it a gaggle of gays. There's 40 gay men.
The guys, the wine guys I told you about, were hanging with those guys all week.
Yes. Okay. So he's one of those guys, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you look like Stephen Sondheim. And then they invited me to drinks tonight at 5:30. So
right on. There you go.
it's a compliment.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So
That'll be a good time. You're hitting the Martini Bar.
where is it? I forget what bar it is. There's so many bars on this cruise. I came across a lounge I had never seen today. I still don't think I've seen all the parts of this ship.
Yeah, this is a big ship. Every once in a while, I'll walk past the place and I'm like, what is this? And there's a little bar in the corner. There's a bar here.
Is your favorite the Martini Bar? You like that one a lot.
I go there a lot. It's easy. It's right over here. I like the Martini Bar. I usually like a cigar lounge, but they don't have one on here.
Yeah.
So I'll get the Martini Bar.
You know what I wish there was on this ship? I was thinking is a pub.
Yeah.
Like a nice
really
group, beer
a
pub.
beer
Go get a draft.
Or fish and chips. And,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they have one on one of the Disney ships, and I just frequented there all the time.
They have them on the
nice.
Princess ships too.
Yeah.
In fact, their cigar lounge is really cool. It's like a pub. It's a cool looking old.
But everything has all the different stuff, different cool things. I will say there's one thing about this ship that's alarming to me.
What?
Not disaster alarming, but there's this part of the ship called the library. Have you seen it?
I've heard. Yeah.
Gorgeous. There's books all the way up 14 feet high, and there's all these cozy chairs, and you just go and grab a book. Some people are doing puzzles. I did a puzzle the other day with some lady, and so it's so nice and serene in there. But one or two decks up is the table tennis, and
so you can hear it.
Yeah.
Can you hear it the whole time you're there?
Yeah, it's click, 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 and then all the whatever 5 kids are on board are always there yelling, and I'm just reading my book, and I'm just this would be so serene if that wasn't there.
Right. That's just bad planning.
Yeah, that's all. But but then there's that big potted tree in the middle of the elevators in the middle. Right. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
At least you sit with your book and look at the potted tree.
These ships are laid out nice. I like these ships.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you. I really love these. That Martini Bar is awesome. That frozen bar thing is brilliant.
Oh, I just saw that yesterday.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I feel like we're really selling this ship.
Yeah, we should
be the spokesperson.
Yeah, we should be getting some money, some kickbacks.
I know, except for when I just bashed the table tennis thing.
Yeah,
but
okay.
otherwise,
everything else we plug so well. They go, they're right. We should probably.
Yeah, they're just gonna move the six cruise offers.
6 cruise offers.
6 cruise offers.
That's somebody on another deck saying 6 cruise offers.
Yeah.
There's a guy with a gong.
Gong. It's a Gong Show. We're toast. We're out of here. Have you heard of the Gong Show?
I watch it all the time. The original with Chuck Barris?
Okay, the original's great. This new one, I was chosen as a contestant.
Yeah.
I went on the Gong Show. I went to LA.
I got some friends that work on that show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're I was so this isn't going to be embarrassing for me and what I do, is it? And they're no, you're one of the talented acts.
Right.
And so I was okay. So I went on, and 2 of the judges gave me a 10 and one of them gave me a 2. And I was
Ouch.
what? And I was and I left really upset from the whole thing. And then I was oh God, this is going to air. My career is going to be over. And I got an email that was "Hi, Kylie. Unfortunately, your act will not be shown on the show.
Oh.
Like you have been cut, like or something." And I was like,
Sweet.
"Yes!" Like, when are you excited to not be on TV?
Oh, that's the best ever.
I know, it was awesome. So
That's good.
I don't even say I was on it.
See, that's
I wasn't
brilliant.
on it.
That's like when I was starting out acting. The only audition I ever auditioned for that I didn't want to get.
Yeah.
This is before when I was non-union.
Uh-huh.
It was for Empire Carpets in Chicago, and it was an Easter
Empire.
ad. Yeah, and it was an Easter ad, and they rewrote the bunny hop to the words of a carpet song. Get yourself a carpet. No, make no down payment for 30 days or whatever. And you wore a bunny costume, and you hopped around while you sang the song. So I did the audition. They were all thrilled. And I'm leaving,
Like,
going, "Oh man, I really don't want to get that gig."
And you totally got it.
No, I didn't get it. Now I found out I didn't get it. I'm like, yes!
Good.
I was so happy because if they would have offered it, I needed the money. Like, yes, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I got lucky. I dodged that bullet.
Okay, this just reminds me of one thing I have to that a memory that just came up, like shot up through my body.
Yeah.
From when I was 17, and I was in high school in Florida, and I had, and I wasn't given everything. Like, I had to work, like get jobs and stuff, like to get a cell phone.
Blue collar,
and-
real life type thing.
Yeah, like real life, like or Jewish parents that are trying to like instill money into like wise financial responsibility.
Well, good for them. My mom didn't do anything.
Yeah, so they just didn't give me any money. So, cool. So I had to make my own money. So I don't know how I met this woman. Like maybe I really don't remember how I met her, but her name was Christy the Clown. Okay. And and she was like, "Do you face paint?" And I was like, "Okay." Like, I don't face paint. Like, I started like looking up like how to face paint after I told her I
So
did.
you agreed to everything.
Yeah, fake it till you make it.
Sure,
so,
exactly, 100%. Right.
So she's like, "Well, great. This is great. So you're hired, and like you're gonna do like birthday parties and nights at Tony Roma's, like the like sports bar. And so just come over." She lived in my community, I think. She goes, "Just come over tomorrow and get your costume." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I go over. It's like a full on like like onesie clown suit.
Yeah.
It's like a leopard print like onesie clown suit, and I had to wear like ears and like go into the Tony Roma's, like people I knew like were in there having steak dinner. I was like, and Painty was like, I'm like, "What do you want?" And he's like, "A soccer ball." And I'm like, "Oh God." And it's like the ugliest thing you've ever seen, like on his cheek. And I just would like cover it in glitter so you wouldn't see how shitty it was. And then, but I got like $100 or something. It was a huge deal for me. Okay, maybe like $50, but it was a lot of money to me. And then I start like working for her a little bit more, and she's like, "Hey, I have a gig for your birthday party. It's 30 minutes. All you have to do is 30 minutes. Hello Kitty, and you're out of there."
Yeah.
Okay, 30 minutes in Florida outside. It's an outside birthday party in Florida. And okay, so I'm thinking like, okay, it's gonna be like a big suit and like one of those huge heads, you know. The head of Hello Kitty was like 2 pillows, like, smashed, like with my head smashed in between, in a hole this big to breathe.
Oh no!
Like breathing through a straw.
Right. Oh God!
So I get in my thing. Everyone's like, "Hello Kitty!" Like running to me, and they're like, "Hello Kitty, I love you," and I'm just like, I'm dying, and then. Like, I was out there for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, kind of gave a little wave, like, Hello Kitty needs to go to the bathroom. And I went into the parents' room and I like take the head off and passed out. Oh. And like 20 minutes later, like the mom came in and was like, "Hello, Kitty?" And I was full on had fainted. And I was like, when I woke up, I was like, "Oh, hell no." I like took the thing, I left, went to Chrissy the Clown's house, went to her, knocked on the door, threw the fucking Hello Kitty costume at her, and I was like, "I quit."
Oh my God.
I don't know where we got into that. Something about...
No, we started...
Where did we?
No, we started with...
Something about Disney or costumes. I don't know.
I did when I first moved to LA. I did that stuff. I did kids parties. I did
Yeah.
everything. I was talking to somebody else. Oh, last week Bob, the magician,
Yeah, Bob, yeah.
and his buddy Brandon.
Yeah.
Brandon did the same thing, but he does
Stilts.
Yeah, stilts, but he does characters, but you can't say the real character. Like I used to do Barney, but it was the purple dinosaur.
Oh.
And they would do Mickey Mouse, but he was the giant,
Right.
whatever, the rat, or I can't remember what it was called. But I would
Raucous rat.
But the head was always hollow. It was always a giant head.
At least it's
with a ton
hollow.
of space. I'm like, that pillow thing is brutal. I don't understand how you.
That was why I hated her. That whole 5 minutes that I was conscious.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is not okay.
Plus,
We're in Florida.
How many other people's heads were in that pillowed head?
Disgusting.
You know what I mean? That's not.
It's like,
sanitary.
have you ever been to like? Have you ever been?
Making me gross thinking about it.
I know, like COVID with that thing.
Yeah, right. You look at everything so differently now than the last
I know.
3 years.
Yeah.
I would just look at. I'm not putting that thing on. There's no way.
No.
Or anything rubbing against my face.
No. Have you ever been to Times Square and see those like six cruise offers? Have you ever been to Times Square and seen those like off-brand Elmos? They're like they walk around with the head like if the sunglasses on is like the head on, like they walk around like this.
Yeah.
You know, the head's just like the head's like half on and they're like, give me money.
Yeah.
And you're
right.
put your head on.
Make a commitment. Well, Disney, they're strict on Disney. You can't be seen in public out of the costume. And furthermore, like if you talk to like a princess or something, they can't play a character. You know what I mean? They have to stay until they disappear in their little area and they come out in their regular clothes.
Yep.
And then when you go, well, you were a princess, they'll go, I don't know what you're talking about.
They're like,
it's like an identity.
They're like, I'm a friend of Belle.
Yeah.
That's what they call them.
A
friend of Peter Pan. Like,
right.
You know, actually, the Disney cruises are kind of magical. They really are so.
Yeah, I want to take my daughters on those, man. My daughters.
They're so. I mean, I was 35 when I did my first one, and I was working it, but I was like, "This is amazing." I full on like had the ears, like I'm like walking around with like a Mickey sweatshirt and like the ears, and I'm just like, "I'm gonna go learn how to draw Pluto," like, you know. But you should. It's so fun. And then there's like a whole Tangled shit themed show, and then they transformed the pub into like the Tangled pub, and then there was Tangled dinner. I just had like a whole Tangled day.
Yeah, right on.
It was just magical. All the like food and beverage people were walking around with like the lanterns.
Right.
Those like floating lanterns.
See, every guest I know that talks about Disney says is amazing.
It really is, especially for kids. It's nice being on cruise lines that don't cater to kids. Also, that you can just kind of, except for the ping pong.
Yeah. Well, those are kids, right?
Yeah.
There's not many kids.
There's only a
cruise.
few. Yeah. Did you know that my first show last night, I asked for like.
You know who that was?
That was Olivia?
It was Olivia from my show.
Oh my gosh.
I ran into her grandmother.
You told me you loved her.
I said she was great. She was
great.
She's very sassy.
She's sassy, but the only problem was like she volunteered. It was the first hand I saw, and I was a kid.
So and she held up.
So she came up. But I should have. I'm like, you'll pick the name out of the hat, and you'll tell me who it is, and I'll do that diva. And the first thing she picks out was like Carol Channing. She's like, Carol Channing or something, and I'm like, okay, this is not gonna go well.
You should play with it, run around it.
I did. I was like,
I mean, you got no choice at that point. That's the hardest thing about pulling people out of the audience. It's a crapshoot.
It really is.
You never know.
Yeah, I made sure like in the second show.
You made it clear. It was funny. You should keep that little speech, by the way.
Which one?
The one you said I was so quick to jump in the first hand, and it was someone that was like 6 or 7. So I need someone over 8.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You gotta keep that. That was very funny.
Okay.
But the whole explanation as to why, because it made sense. You're like, oh, of course you need somebody older. You know what
I mean? And they're, the names are weird, like Patty LaPone.
Yeah, and some that she may know and a lot she doesn't know.
Yeah.
Right?
So I also might just you can have them like pull it out and then I'll just say who it is. I just don't want anyone to think that it's planned in any way, shape, or form.
Well, it didn't look planned the second time around. And I was sitting next to Olivia's grandmother, apparently.
Oh, nice.
Second show. They were on the other side of me at Tom.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because she said something to me after, right at that moment. She goes, I get Olivia, something to Olivia, and I go, do you know Olivia? Because I didn't know her.
Yeah.
I met her mom, but not her grandma.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I met her last night. So
everybody knows Olivia.
Everybody knows Olivia now. Yeah, she's the center of attention.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she won't be on my show tonight.
No, because your show's adults
No, it's
only.
my show's not.
And I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
I loved the clean show, and I'm ready for the unclean.
Yeah, I can't wait to get up there and do some grown-up stuff.
Yeah,
It'll
me
be
too.
nice.
I can't wait to see it.
All right, man. Let's wrap this up. This was perfect.
Fun.
You were dynamite for the show. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Thank
this
you.
is really great. You'll have to do it again.
I'm a yes man.
I like it. Yes, man. Yes, man. Yes, man.
6 cruise.
6 cruise offers.
All
right.
Maybe we're out of the zone.
Whatever.
All right. Great.
You want to plug socials? You want to plug socials right to the camera?
Sure.
Do it.
Hi.
Plug your little video that's famous. That's
Okay. So if you want to see the video of me doing Send in the Clowns as 12 different divas, that is Broadway Divas Send in the Clowns on YouTube. You can just Google Broadway Divas Send in the Clowns and my name, and you'll find it. It looks very old at this point because it's like 13 years old, but I know we appreciate it. And then I am Instagram at Carly Sakolove. You can find my Carly Sakolove Facebook fan page if you'd like to do that, or you can go to carlysakolove.com.
Right on. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much. This is Dynamite. Bye, Carly.
Bye.
You're still watching? That's amazing. Nobody does that. Nobody, but you did. That means you want more. Pick one of these clips. Go for it. I dare you. Hey, also follow one of those social media thingies.